Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of December 12th. We're going to jump right in here, Leo, and we are going to see what is going on for you this week in your current general energies in this first row. You have this rebirth card. You have the Six of Cups as well. You have a lot of childlike energy here. The Page of Swords, to me, is the card of the child. So it wouldn't really surprise me if either you were like thinking about opportunities from when you were a child, or if you were kind of like thinking about the past in some way. Some of you could also be dealing with, things involving children just in general. But it is interesting to me that you have that Pluto card again. Pluto is changing signs in 2023. It's going into Aquarius, your opposite sign. Look, another card of a rebirth as well. So you could be going through a major change in your life at this time. I don't even feel like saying that this is a transformation. I mean, I think the change that you're going through could be, could involve a transformation. But look, the sun, whatever this change is, I like it. But it's kind of interesting because, again, it's like not popping into my head. Like normally I see stuff like this. I'm like, it kind of strikes me as like some sort of transformation. To me, this is more, it kind of looks like something being added on to your life, if that makes sense. So those are the words that are kind of popping into my head. You could be like, just to give you some examples, you could be like joining someone's, you could be like getting married, joining someone's family, having children, things like that. That's like something being added on to your life that kind of causes a transformation. Just feels different. I don't know how else to explain it, but there you go. You have this Pluto card. Again, Pluto's changing signs into your opposite sign next year. It's going to be there for a short period of time, then it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn. I don't know how I feel about this whole Pluto changing signs thing. I think the first few years could be a little bit more on the positive side of things, and then we'll see what happens after that. I'll put it that way. I think it's kind of up in the air. There's too much unpredictability in the astrology, even in the energy. I feel things are very unpredictable. I feel like there are too many things that haven't happened. That's like what I feel like saying. So there you go, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's going to be a wild ride. Should be exciting. But for you personally, I feel there's definitely clearly some sort of rebirth coming in. You have the Six of Cups, the Page of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. There could be some sort of opportunity as well that you're taking advantage of, something that you thought of in the past, like something you've thought of before. It kind of looks to me like maybe some of you like have the resources now to do something you wanted to do, and maybe you just didn't have the resources to do it in the past. So it's like if you want to start a business, or maybe you want to, I see moving here as well. So maybe some of you wanted to move or go on an adventure. Maybe you just didn't have the money and now you do. maybe you still don't have the money, but maybe you're about to make the money, is kind of like the feeling that I get here. But this is definitely you revisiting an idea. And the funny thing is I feel that it is attached to finances as well, meaning like maybe you didn't have the money to, grow your business, but now you do. So you're making even more money, like whenever you go through whatever this kind of like change is. I keep getting the word addition or attachment or something like that is popping into my head. And, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time on that because I could, just daydream about that all day long. So let's see if it pops up again. But you have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is the card of the child. I think you need more childlike energy just looking at this reading. In your next row of the unexpected, you have the Nine of Swords and Ten of Swords. I feel like this is too much head energy going on here. You have the Queen of Pentacles as well. Personally, to me, the Nine of Swords is the worst card in the tarot. I don't really feel tarot is good or bad in the first place. I think it's just loose advice at best, as I always say. And I think some people take it way too seriously. But what I would say is that it's interesting that you're sandwiched between the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords. Thinking a lot about the future and worrying about like repeating mistakes is kind of like what's popping into my head. I feel like you need to focus on more of this like childlike energy, children aren't afraid to ask questions about things that they don't know. They're not afraid to enjoy life and have fun. They're kind of like have a carefree attitude in a good way. And I feel embracing those energies would be a good idea for you. I think it'll just lighten the energy. Too much heavy energy. I would say also if you're like worrying too much about what's going on in the world, I feel that energy. And, so I always say like, don't watch the news and like all that other stuff because it's just going to like weigh you down more. And I'm not saying we should be ignoring things that are happening, but at the same time, It's like, if it's affecting you mentally, especially if you're worrying about things that could happen, might happen, may never happen, then I would be very careful of that. Let's see here. With the Six of Cups, you have the Revenge card. You also have a card wanting to pop out here. You have this Manipulation card. I don't know. All this stuff keeps coming out during Mars retrograde, and I always tell people, to me, it's very like Mars retrograde, especially in Gemini type of energy, and I would just ignore it. I always say the best thing you can do during Mars retrograde is ignore the BS. I think it's like when we try to defend ourselves, when we try to prove ourselves or something during Mars retrograde, it always makes us look way worse. Then it doesn't make us look better, right? With the Page of Swords, you have this isolation card here. Some of you could be feeling isolated, but I feel like it has to do with understanding. Your reading is popping in very clear, if you can't tell. Very, very clear today, which is interesting for you. But I feel this has to do with understanding. Feeling isolated because maybe you feel like people aren't understanding where you're coming from or have never understood you. I feel like, look, there's like a person here supporting this person. I feel like you're about to gain support, Leo, maybe for your beliefs or, whatever the case may be. Some of you could be experiencing moments where you're proven right based off of things that you've said in the past as well, I'm getting. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have this Achievements card. Definitely big achievements coming in for you. I feel like you have a good couple of years coming up here, Leo, for sure. And that doesn't mean it's going to get worse after that or something. I just think that, the next few years could be kind of a little bit more stand out to you is what I would say here. Very important. I feel like kind of working is important. This is the Sun in Capricorn as well, this card right here. And, I pretty much say this to everyone. For whatever reason, like years ago in like 2017, I remember I actually have a video on the astrology on my channel from when from 2017. I'll try to find it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but I'll try. And in that video, I was talking about how I felt like efficiency was going to be super, super important in the future. Like, focusing on, in business and love, every area of your life, becoming as efficient as possible, not just doing work to do work, not just doing something to do something, but doing things on purpose. I was getting that was going to be super important. And you are definitely one of the signs that gets this message quite a bit. So I would pay attention to efficiency for sure. Next, in the area of the unexpected, you have this Artist card. It says creative endeavors can help you improve your cash flow. I pretty much always say this to you. I think if you're, getting stuck too much in your head, thinking too much, coming up with ideas, and then not taking action, then I feel being more creative or coming up with more creative ideas could set you free from the overthinking place. I also think that if you're coming from a place of neediness, that could be a little bit of a problem as well. I don't think this is a bad thing. And again, I'm not calling you out here at all, Leo, but just sometimes I think, it's hard. It's like if you have like a business and you have employees and you're trying to make more money and you need money to pay your employees, it could be a little bit stressful, right? And that's like what I'm talking about here. And I'm not saying, again, that you shouldn't work on these things, but what I would say is I would kind of like try your best to say like, okay, it is what it is, and I know I can find a solution. Like I would come at things from that position if you happen to be in that position, because I feel a little bit sandwiched here. Nine of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, and the Ten of Swords. It's like you actually have the resources necessary to be successful. I almost feel like I don't even need to talk about the Nine of Swords and Ten of Swords because she has this rabbit right here. The rabbit on the Queen of Pentacles can represent fear, anxiety, and all sorts of things. When you think about it, rabbits are scared little creatures, but she's focusing on what she does have, this pentacle right here. She's not focused on this rabbit over here. So, it's like, yes, people always correct me and tell me how the rabbit represents abundance and fertility. Great. Yes, absolutely represents that. But again, I read intuitively. If you don't like it, there are plenty of other readers that read straight out of the book. Go watch them, right? But what I would say here is I feel that for some of you, you need to focus on what you have, not on the rabbit, not on the fears, not on the things that could happen in life. Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, right? Not focusing on those things. I feel there are blessings coming in for you. The Ten of Swords actually represents blessings as well. Right here, he's making a symbol with his hands, and it represents a blessing. It's the same symbol that the Hierophant is making. Also, the Sun is coming up. Also, he is dead. He's going through a transformation. I think that you need to realize that something is dead, done, over with. Ten of Swords, Judgment. They're dead, those people. They're standing inside their coffins. Inside the coffin is their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. This is your new life. Look at this row right here, Leo. That looks pretty amazing to me. I definitely like that. Things being more worth it with the Seven of Pentacles as well. With the Nine of Swords, again, I keep getting future, future, future. Those are the words that are popping into my head with this Nine of Swords. So I feel like you could be a little bit worried about future future things that are happening. And this could be in your personal life or in the world. Take it how it resonates. But I feel like you need to kind of get away from the future thinking. Again, I'm not saying, I think, preparation is perfectly fine if you're preparing for changes in the future. Nothing wrong with that. But I just wouldn't be like overly paranoid about the future. You're not the only sign that has had this message. Again, I think it was, it might have been Gemini. So if you're dealing with a Gemini, I have Gemini keeps popping into my head as well. So if you're dealing with a Gemini or someone who has Gemini on their chart, like in love or something, it could be you worrying about the situation. With the Nine of Swords, you have the, here you go, right here. Moon in Gemini. Are you kidding me? This card is adaptability, and it's about being adaptable. And I feel like you need to be adaptable at this time. I feel like you need to realize that there are like multiple ways of doing things. I always say this to you, that there are kind of like many ways of doing things. This card kind of freaks me out. Kind of reminds me of a dream I had like a few months ago now that was very vivid and was kind of very weird. So, some of you are, let's just put it this way, I feel like you're going through a transformation. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have this risk card. I do feel like you need to take bigger risks, especially for those of you in business. I feel there could be a lot of opportunity to kind of really greatly increase your finances at this time, but it is probably going to involve risk. This card also kind of reminds me of the Three of Pentacles. You can see these three pentacles right here. So if you're working on a team or working with other people, that could be also very beneficial for you to make money. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Patience card. I feel like you have been very patient. You kind of show up right here, right at the top of the card. So I do feel like you're in a position of power and strength. This card kind of reminds me of the Empress or the Nine of Pentacles even, which, they're basically the same card. But you see that lady in the middle. She looks very fancy. And I feel like there's a lot of abundance coming in for you. But I feel that, I feel you've been very patient for this abundance as well. Next in the area of, what are we doing? Oh yeah, what's coming towards you? You have this Unfinished Symphony card. I would be careful actually of past energy based off this reading. Like if you have dealt with like a Gemini in the past, like a past person, maybe you have a past Gemini that can't let go of you or whatever, do whatever you got to do to put up boundaries or, whatever the case may be, right? I would try to protect yourself from that. But this can represent kind of like unfinished business. For others, I just get this feeling that you haven't reached something. You have the Four of Pentacles, the Judgment card, and the Knight of Swords. I get it on this Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is about being in a comfort zone, but I almost feel that it could be saying not that you're holding on to the past, but there's like some sort of milestone, or there's something that you have not achieved in life yet. And it's something that you've probably wanted to achieve for a long time. Six of Cups, Judgment. I mean, I feel this is something that you feel is like a calling. And I feel like that you're capable of much more. I feel like you've had these little moments throughout your life where you kind of like taste success. Like, it's almost like you have a certain level of success for a certain period of time and maybe it dips down, or, maybe you have received awards in life or something like that for things that you've done. But it's like there's another level that I feel like you're like looking at and you're saying, I want to be like up there. I want to, there's so much more that I could accomplish. There's so much more that I could do. And I feel like you need to nurture that energy inside of you, because it's like literally, I feel like it's your higher self, your soul is like right here calling out to you saying like, hey, we want you to, or you want to do more. It's not even about we. I think it's about you. I think you want to do more, but you just have to leave something behind from the past. But I feel these could be beliefs or ideas or things that have held you back. You have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords says, do not rush back to the past. He's literally like going back towards the past in this reading here. So I would keep going towards the future, your inner child, which is exactly what we were talking about at the beginning of the reading. The sun, there's the inner child here, and I feel that's what you need to kind of like embrace. With the Four of Pentacles, you have this Resistance card, resistance to change, resistance in general. I've been talking about The War of Art for a very long time by Stephen Pressfield, and that book is all about resistance, and you don't even have to be an artist, even though you have that artist card showing up there, because it's about resistance, the book, and how to move past resistance. I think it's like a great book for like the next decade, right? I think that it will apply to all of our lives. So it might be a good book for you to pick up, The War of Art. And no, it's not The Art of War. People keep correcting me. No, it's a completely separate book. So, don't make that mistake and pick up The Art of War. Although, I mean, that's a good book too, but The War of Art is what we're talking about here. With the Judgment card, you have this Secrets card. It's like why do I get the feeling that some of you are like in a new connection, and I feel like an old person is just kind of lingering around, notices that you've pulled your energy away, and now they're all up in your business or want to be in your business or trying to talk to you now. I would say, like, don't let a past person mess up a good new thing. This is like what I feel like saying here. They could be coming in and just telling you secrets about things that they did or whatever and trying to mess things up. So I would be careful of that with this energy. For others, I feel like you feel that there could be certain secrets that have held you back from success. It's like, it reminds me of YouTube years ago. It's like I was trying to figure out what the secret to success was. Like, how were people growing so quickly and all this other stuff? And it's like sometimes I think you do get to a point where you're like, okay, like, do they know something I don't? Is there a secret or what is it? I feel like some of you, I don't think you're discovering secrets. I just feel like you're discovering what works, like in work and business. With the Knight of Swords, you have this Extremism card. A couple of people have had this card this week. And again, I just feel intuitively that there could be something in the world that happens that involves extremism or that has something to do with like extreme beliefs or whatever. I keep telling people to be careful of the extremes, the both sides, any side, right? I don't take sides. I don't even sit in the middle. I sit like somewhere else, outer space, basically. And what I would say here is I would be careful of like any extremist type stuff, because I feel like the astrology just in general is kind of like ripe for crazy extremist stuff. At the end here, for messages from your future self, you have this Delight card, a lot of happiness and joy coming in for you. Obviously, you have the Sun in this row, so a lot of happiness. You have the Knight of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Sun. Not only is this the best card in the tarot, but I would say this is your most important card here, Leo. You can see this baby or child on this horse, and there's also this wall behind this child, and the wall kind of represents the wall that we all build up against our inner child. We all have things that we wanted to do when we were children, and maybe people told us we couldn't do those things, or maybe we feel like we're too old, so we can't do the things that we wanted to do when we were children or whatever, right? And this basically says, well, you need to let your inner child out anyway. No matter what anyone thinks, no matter what you think anyone will say, I think you need to let that out. Part of me feels with like Pluto entering into Aquarius, it's like, it's not like the normal ideas that are going to be very successful. It's the weird stuff that's going to be successful. That's Chris's crappy astrology, of course, not accurate astrology, but, I would be going for the weird, unique ideas. I wouldn't be going for the, like, what, everybody tells me to do ideas. You have the Seven of Pentacles. I feel like you're moving towards things that are much more worth it in your life. It's like I feel that your energy is like much better use of your energy is what I'm getting here, especially in work or business. I feel like your future self really wants you to examine the things that you do in work, especially for those of you that work. And if you don't work, if you're retired, then I would be looking at the things that you're working on. Like, what do you do with your day? Do you feel more energetic at the end of the day, or do you feel more exhausted at the end of the day? How do you feel? Right? And that's what I'd be focusing on here, and do more things that make, bring you more energy is what that's saying to me. You have the Knight of Wands as well. I feel like you're much more adventurous in the future. I feel like your future self, like, I don't even get any of the nothing traditional is popping into my head with this Knight of Wands. It's basically saying to me that I feel like your future self wants you to be more, not like careless, but more carefree in a certain way. Like, I just think that with this extremism stuff, there might be some things that happen in the world that you just want to freak out and all this other stuff. But I think that your future self isn't saying, like, it's not asking you to not care about these things, but it's just saying, like, how much do these things, how much is it really going to affect you? How much is I don't know the answer to that question. You have to answer it for yourself, right? But I would say, how do things make you feel? Do they make you feel good or bad? Can you just get the scale to tilt like 51% good and 49% bad? I think that's all we need to do. I don't think we have to be perfect, right? I think we can be 49% stinking thinking, but as long as we're 51% positive thinking, then, we're going the right direction. Look at this. With the Knight of Wands, you have this Harmony card. I feel like that your future self wants you to have more peace in your life, wants you to feel more at peace as well. You have with the Seven of Pentacles, you have this Vision card. Some of you could be dealing with a Pisces. Pisces, I don't know what the deal with. I'm a Pisces, okay? So for you Pisces cross watchers that are about to get offended, I'm a Pisces, so get over it. But what I would say is I feel like some of you could be dealing with a creepy little Pisces. Pisces has been all up in fire signs business. I don't know what's going on there, but whatever. For others, I feel like this is saying maintain your vision in life. I feel like your future self really wants you to have like something to work towards, like a goal, wish, or dream. With the Sun, you have the resourcefulness card, Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is the card of resourcefulness. I feel like you are very resourceful at this time, or at least you have the resources necessary to accomplish a lot at this time as well. We're going to pull 5 main themes for your week now here, Leo. You have this Eagle card. It says triumph over obstacles. Love it. I feel like you're going to be overcoming a lot of obstacles at this time. I do get this feeling of like what I would call like a push, or like, I don't know, like a sprint in work or something like that, where, I feel like some of you are really going to be like making a really hard push to kind of get up there. Like I said, I feel like it's above me. I feel like it's right up there on my ceiling, right? Whatever it is that you're kind of looking up to here. And it's like you're almost there, Leo. You have this tree card. It says affairs with your family. I think these are just, family, just typical family stuff going on here. I feel like it's mostly positive. You have this key card. It says successful outcome to your problem. So obviously, if you're dealing with any problems, there are clearly some very successful outcomes here. And you have this dog card. It says protection from a powerful friend. Someone's got your back here, Leo. I'm wondering, it could be a Pisces, because you have Pisces here. It could be a Taurus as well, is popping into my head. So if you have or a Capricorn. So if you have a friend or something like that, I feel like someone has your back here just in general. I feel something about connections here as well. It's like you're building very powerful connections here, Leo. I don't know. That's what I get. You have this beetle. It says good fortune. So definitely good fortunes coming in for you as well. This is a very powerful reading. I'm interested to see like what this change that you're going through is. And again, I keep getting the word like attachments or something. It's almost like you're adding things on to yourself, but in a good way. So this looks good. So thank you for being here, Leo. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.